E più ti penso, e più mi manchi, ti vedo coi miei occhi stanchi. Welcome to the Voice of Reason. Mr. Director, do you ever think at times or reflect upon the Roman Empire? Something that we partially derived our country from with some of its best qualities. And we know that at times it went through very difficult periods. For example, when Saints Cornelius and Cyprian were alive in the mid-200 AD, so from 251 to 253, St. Cornelius, Pope of the Christian Church, now identified as the Catholic Church, and St. Cyprian, his friend, Bishop of Carthage in North Africa. At the time, Emperor Decius was in power and persecuted Christians on a regular basis. Roughly 80 or so years later, we know what would happen then to the Roman Empire becoming a Christian empire, but really up until that point, countless persecutions. And it's really funny to reflect upon, and perhaps not funny, but good to reflect upon, the fact that many people say history repeats itself. But I've come to the conclusion that it does not necessarily repeat itself, but history does rhyme. Dating back to the earliest Christians, to the earliest dates in human civilization, we see patterns. And we see moments where people are persecuted for their faith, for their belief system, and simply for sharing their opinion. And we know the sad events over the course of the last week. And on the other end of that, as heroic as it's been watching people hold vigils and celebrations from coast to coast in churches, people dusting off those Bibles, over 220,000 people signing up for Sunday's memorial to honor our dear friend Charlie Kirk, and countless other organizations coming together to celebrate an illustrious life and legacy with countless tributes from household names pouring in the sports world to media, culture, and music. You then see the ugly face of hypocrisy. Someone like a Jimmy Kimmel. And truly it was the market that has caused him to no longer have a platform. When you look at the 1934 Federal Communications Act, whatever opinion you do have on that specifically, it laid out the idea that broadcast networks must be within the realm of public interest. In fact, it's been a movement on the far left in order to silence people on the radio, to television programming for countless generations, especially throughout the 20th century. But as we see Nexstar and Sinclair interested in running a business, in making money, and simply responding to the fact that not only now, but over the course of the last decade, Jimmy Kimmel simply did not have the ratings. He did not have the fans. He wasn't funny. Even Charlie Kirk tweeted back in 2017 that Jimmy Kimmel is not funny, period. Something we agree with here on the Voice of Reason. But it's interesting to look back into Jimmy Kimmel's career. This is someone who used to have a show that featured women jumping up and down on trampolines in bikinis and coming from an approach of misogyny that was unlike anything you've ever seen. Now, when it was on Comedy Central, not having a license, with the FCC like other stations do. For example, cable and Fox, they don't have a license with the FCC as regular network broadcasts do. But to put out what was an extraordinary lie and to say things like President Trump's relationship with Charlie was like a 4-year-old child mourning a goldfish, and to claim that this alleged shooter and the suspect who's in custody, who's now been charged and likely facing the death penalty, was MAGA, when he was in a relationship with another man who claimed again that trans narrative. Nothing could be further from the truth. And all he was spreading was hate and lies. Just like when he, on that prior show, would dress up like Karl Malone, the great Utah Jazz basketball player, in full blackface. This was only 20 years ago. Al Jolson would be proud of someone like Jimmy Kimmel. But here on The Voice of Reason, you have to look at the content of someone's character. And it's truly sad the way he's conducted himself. And earnestly, honestly, we pray for Jimmy Kimmel's mental health. And I don't say that in a way that's meant to demean the situation. I truly mean that. I pray for his health and well-being, and I also hope that he'll join us sometime here on The Voice of Reason to discuss why he would come to such a ridiculous and false conclusion. As we continue to stand up for the truth on this show, in the new media, and across the culture, we will be unafraid to celebrate those great values here in this nation. As we have a show for you tonight that does just that, going on Auburn University's campus to talk to the students and residents and visitors, alumni, in fact. Some great stories tonight. Something I think Charlie would be proud of. Here it is for you now, live from Auburn University. The controversy now, there's two official national championships, 1957, 2010, but Auburn's claiming 9, and Senator Tommy Tuberville, the coach, is with that prediction. He wants to be governor of Alabama. What are your thoughts on the claiming of these new championships?
Well, we were here way before those were, but whatever the SEC allows is okay with me. I mean, heck, when you have an undefeated season, ostensibly you should be number one. Oop.
Right.
Oop. I hope she has a poop bag over there.
Otherwise, somebody's
You don't want that on Toomer's Corner.
Yeah, we came over here from Atlanta just to be here to throw some toilet paper.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be a fun... rain or shine, will you be out there to throw the toilet paper?
Oh, rain or shine.
We've been coming here for generations.
I love it.
Yeah, generations.
So is this love story dating back all the way to Auburn University?
All the way to 67 and 66.
Fantastic. God bless you. What is the secret to your success?
Yeah. Staying alive. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. We married other people, but then they both passed away, so we came together again. So it was really amazing.
We were supposed to get married in 67, but the Vietnam War was going, and I went into the Navy, and I told Linda that I'd see her in 4 years after I got back. And 48 years later, 47 years later, I get an email from her saying, hey, you want to get a coffee at Starbucks? And she had just learned my wife passed away. And her husband had passed away 7 months earlier. So
here we are.
so here we are. We spent all of our life almost in Biggin Hall across the street there. She was in interior design and I was in architecture. So here we are again.
Phenomenal. Well, enjoy the game tonight. Thank you for the beautiful story, inspiring us. Thank you for your service, sir. It's that's the Auburn story right there. It's always home, and all roads come back, isn't it?
We rode down a street today where his father had a house, and
I bought a house on Lakeview Drive. It's still there. It still looks exactly like it did 58 years ago. I can't believe it.
On that street.
Nothing has changed.
Unbelievable.
Well, it just matters more in the SEC, and this is the premier university of that great conference, Auburn University, and a love story that years in the making. Thanks for sharing with us today.
Yeah.
Absolutely. God bless you all.
Okay, thank you.
And that's always my thought about going out and making sure you have that phone call, that email. Young people, shoot your shot, go after it.
War Eagle.
War Eagle. Georgia's on my mind. Georgia, dun dun dun, Georgia. We're with Georgia, an Auburn University student.
Yes, I'm a freshman.
Fantastic. What are you studying?
Public relations.
Oh, fantastic major, a smart thing. But we're here tonight on this rainy Friday afternoon. Hope you're done with classes. How's the schedule going? Okay.
It's been good. I had 3 classes today. I just left my last one.
We have a round robin, real quick, of a few pictures of some people who are, I don't know, rather famous, I would guess. Let's see, as a freshman here at Auburn University, if you can correctly predict who these people are.
JD Vance.
Well done.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I'm from New Jersey. I don't know.
You need to know who that is if you're going to Auburn.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's okay. Hey, 1 out of 6. That's good. And thank you. Have a great Labor Day weekend.
Thank you.
And Georgia, we'll see you soon.
Thanks.
Absolutely. As we look off of Toomer's Corner on the College and Magnolia Corner, you will have the opportunity to roll the corner right there on these trees. This is where they teepee before, after, during games. It could be for that victory celebration where it's the most common, but almost all celebrations bring you out here for generations of Auburn fans to enjoy. With William J. Sanford Hall in the background, probably the architectural highlight of this gorgeous campus. Beautiful restaurants, all home to not only students, but the great residents here on the loveliest village on the plains. It's Auburn, Alabama. And we're outside here with Christian and Morgan. So tell us more about what life on campus is right here in Auburn, Alabama. You have great restaurants. It's really got a feel of course, college-centric town that Auburn, Opelika is, the Twin Cities. We have a lot of people retiring here as well. So tell us about your experience here and why you love Auburn, Alabama.
Yeah, it's been good. All the restaurants have been great. The food's great. The only downside is it's a lot of walking.
Right.
Especially since I'm off campus, so it's like a 30-minute walk to everywhere. But it's good. It's great.
Well, yeah, it's a bad part, but I mean, it's a walkable campus. Everything is close. Beautiful trees everywhere, beautiful greenery. I mean, restaurants are nice. I like to cook a lot, and I live right next to the Publix. So, I mean, it's awesome. All types of amenities everywhere, and no one really talks about just like the Southern hospitality here. I mean, people walking up on the street. Yeah. It's just amazing, yeah.
And you have people from all over the country, all over the world, coming to experience that Southern hospitality, that tradition that is the loveliest village on the plains in Auburn. So, gentlemen, Christian and Morgan, let's do a lightning round of a few pictures, see if you can name these people.
JD Vance. That is
all right. There you go.
Ooh, I have no idea.
Okay.
I gotta guess. That is Big Al.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's Al from the 1980s sitcom. Well done. First to get that today.
Really?
Yes, sir.
That, I don't know.
Some
No
politician.
idea.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Don't know him.
That's Tupperville.
Yes, you have to know him.
The Auburn. Oh my gosh. I should've-
That's Coach right there.
Yeah,
I know him.
I didn't get that.
Maybe the next governor of Alabama.
Yeah.
And a United States senator.
And then that is, I don't know.
Yeah. Don't know.
You were talking about him earlier.
I was?
Yep.
Is that Hugh Freeze?
That's you, Freeze.
That's you, Grease? Wow.
Hey, that's a fair photo as well. We'll show it here on the show. But, gentlemen, thanks for stopping by and hanging out with us. And you have a great Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Have a good one.
I'm assuming boyfriend, girlfriend.
No, just friends.
Maybe in the future, though?
I don't know. Just friends, I think.
Not to put you on the spot, brother, but we just had the best story of a lovely older couple. They're here for the weekend. And second marriage because they lost their spouses. So make a long story short, all smiles at the end because she sent an email to him and said, hey, how are things going? They dated here on campus. So it's a love story 40 plus years in the making. So I'm just saying, if there's ever a time, shoot your shot, sir, it's now.
All right, I appreciate that advice.
And just coming from someone who is in that dating game. So let's do a lightning round real quick of pictures. Let's see if you can announce or identify these characters in American culture. Ready, set, go.
J.D. Vance.
Well done.
I don't know that one. I don't know that one.
That one's a tough one.
Yeah. J.B. Pritzker.
Oh, there you go. The first one today, J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I don't know that one.
No
You have to know
idea.
this one if you went to Auburn.
Is it? I have no idea.
Senator Tommy Tuberville, coach, perhaps the future governor of Alabama. So one of the ones who also endorsed the 9 championships that happened recently. I'm sure you saw on the news. And who is this?
That's Hugh Freeze.
It is Hugh Freeze, the current coach, who has a chance to redeem himself come this season. Thanks for stopping by and having fun with us today. Absolutely, we appreciate it.
See you guys.
Now, first and foremost, where did that delicious sandwich come from? Because I am starving on this Friday.
Panera Dining Dollars.
Oh, wow.
That's all I'm saying.
Is that a feature here on campus?
Yeah, Panera is pretty good. It's in the library, so.
Okay. Is that where the university students are getting fueled up? It's Panera bread.
I mean, there's so many different options. Like, I pick something different every single day.
I think it's the best campus for that. I mean, I can't think of another campus that has quite walkability when it comes to great restaurants, especially on Toomer's Corner.
Well,
yeah,
I can't
definitely.
think of any better campus, period.
I
I mean, War Eagle.
So what's been the best part about being students here at this fine university?
Oh my gosh. Wait,
It's a loaded
gonna
question.
give me like 20 minutes to think about that. I don't even know. Like,
Other than Panera bread.
wow. Everything. Just the culture here. The way that the students love the school, the students love each other. It's amazing.
Right.
Yeah, definitely for me, it's the campus. Just like being able to walk around and like it's so beautiful, it's so clean. Like there's so many opportunities like that. That is really awesome.
Okay, we got a lightning round now. Not to put you on the spot, but these are some big time Americans right now. They're in the news, and some of them might just have something to do with Auburn University. So ready, set, no time limit, go.
Mike Pence.
Oh, close.
J.D. Vance.
There you go. Both vice presidents. It's okay. It's okay.
I have actually zero idea.
That's okay. Any thoughts on this handsome gentleman who really doesn't have a lot of substance, but he's handsome and good hair?
I should not. I should be muted right now.
She's had a long day. Oh, that's that like freakish. It's on It was on like PBS, right?
Like the 1980s.
Yes.
It's a comedy show. Very wholesome. He's an alien.
Yes. I don't.
Eats cats.
Yeah. Well.
Entertains everyone.
Alf.
Yes, he got it. There he goes. Alf, it is. That's a tough one. That's been the toughest one today. How about this guy?
I have no idea.
Are you laughing at his weight? That's terrible. Are you fat shaming him?
No, I'm laughing about my first comment that I made. I just can't get over that.
How about this guy?
This is.
If you go to Auburn, you have to know him.
Is he one of our coaches?
He was.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't.
He's your United States Senator and future governor as well.
You want to help us? Can we call in?
Tommy Tuberville, coach, what do you think about this? You got to get back to campus. Got a campaign here. There's a bunch of voters. How about this guy?
This is terrible. This
I'm
is
not from the state of Alabama. I don't know.
not.
It's okay. This is the current football coach, Mr. Hugh Freeze, who's doing quite a job on this campus. But ladies, thank you so much for indulging us and talking to us about why it's great being here. Yeah. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend.
Thank you. You too.
So, Auburn Tigers. We could do better than we did last year when it comes to football. Hey, basketball was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And you have some incredible sports like tennis as well. A great facility here on campus. What are some of your thoughts on football season as we enter into it in the year of 2025?
I pray we can do better than last year. Tonight's a big night, and I really hope we win.
War Eagle.
War Eagle all the way. Now, were you there for that Texas A&M game where the students stormed the gates?
Yes, but my friends were too cold, so we left in the fourth quarter before they rushed the field.
It was a bit chilly, but it was actually probably safe to leave at that point. So are you on campus now? What are you studying?
I'm doing civil engineering this year.
Okay, and is it a good start to the semester? Is it tough? What's going on?
It's already getting hard, but I'm just going to persevere through.
Not for the faint of heart. This is a smart gal right here doing civil engineering. A lot smarter than this brain, let me tell you that. Now, what's your most favorite part about being a member of this extraordinary community? It's the loveliest village on the plains. It's Auburn, Alabama, home to Auburn University, the Tigers, War Eagle, as you mentioned. And it just matters more in the SEC, and this is the premier university, no question.
Yeah, I love Auburn so much, and excited to roll the trees tonight because it's going to happen.
Oh, yeah, rain or shine?
Rain or shine.
I think it's going to happen right here. This is actually where all of that takes place. Have you done that before?
I have. I've done it a lot. Hopefully a lot more.
All right, we're going to see a lot of it. And Eli Manning was recently here for his show. Yes. Did a little bit of the rolling, and here we go. War Eagle. Okay, so we're at Auburn University. It's home of Right Side Broadcasting Network, and this illustrious university, the loveliest village on the plains. We're talking to students today where they will roll that teepee into the trees, rain or shine, come victory. And it's a fun thing to do, whether it's in the fall, the spring. Heck, I've seen it in summertime. What are your thoughts on the football season this year?
I'm super excited. We're freshmen, so we're really excited to go.
Yeah.
First games.
Yeah, same thing. I'm just really excited because I haven't been to an Auburn game.
Now, Alabama locals, or are we from out of state?
I'm from D.C.
Oh, wow.
I'm from St. Louis, Missouri.
Fantastic. Okay, Midwest and some East Coast. Well, it's a good mix. I'm from Chicago, Illinois originally.
I was originally from there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
How long were you there?
A few months. I was a baby.
Yeah, it was good to get out of there because they're having a lot of crime, and D.C. not so much crime anymore. Do you go back often?
Yeah, I do. I still live there, so on breaks and stuff I go back.
Yeah, it's a beautiful city. Great to see the monuments, the federal city, as many of you know how much of a fan I am of Washington, D.C. We visit on a regular basis to get some interviews from some relatively popular people. Now, let me take you through the lightning round of some people who have been in the news lately. No pressure. There's no timeline. It's just if you can answer it or not.
Okay.
No biggie. But who's that guy right there?
Oh, that's the vice president.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Okay. Who's that guy?
I don't know.
I have no clue.
Is that from like?
This is like from the 1980s, so it was way before you were born.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that from that one show with the talking animals, like the pig and the?
Kind of, but he actually lived with the family. He's like a Martian or something, an alien. He eats cats.
Don't know who it is.
He was a childhood friend of mine. I was a big fan back in the day. How about that guy?
I don't know.
You have to know him.
No clue.
We've been interviewing a lot of freshmen today. That is Senator Tommy Tuberville. He was once coach of the Auburn Tigers. So, and now he's defending the 9 championships. There's officially 2, 1957 and 2010. Now, according to him, 9, and he wants to be your next governor. So, Coach, you got to get back to campus. There's a lot of votes out there. How about this guy?
No clue.
No.
He is the current coach of the team. But thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
And we're glad you're here at Auburn University. Seems like you're having a great time.
Yes, we're very excited.
Yes,
War
thank
Eagle.
you.
War Eagle, have a great time in your first football game.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you to everyone on the corner of College and Magnolia in downtown Auburn, Alabama, home of Auburn University and that Toomer's Corner. Make sure you get your lemonade when you visit during football season. Now, we also had the opportunity to speak with Chicago reporter William J. Kelly because he's keeping us up to date on everything Governor J.B. Pritzker and Mayor Brandon Johnson. Oh, that Governor J.B. Pritzker, also someone who claims to be a fan of Jimmy Kimmel and says, oh, he might have said some wrong things. Well, let's dive in and talk to William about just what's going on in the Windy City. And welcome to the Voice of Reason, William J. Kelly, Chicago reporter. You can find all of his work at reporterwilliamjkelly.com. Thank you for joining the Voice of Reason. Let's dive into remembering our friend.
God bless you, by the way.
Oh, thank you, and God bless you, sir. Thank you. Let's remember our friend Charlie Kirk, who we were both there for those early Illinois days. Please give us your reflection and the way he helped influence culture.
It hasn't even fully sunk in yet, has it, Robert? Yeah, I love Charlie. Everyone, every kind or good word that people have been saying about him is all true. I remember meeting him so many years ago and before he was national. And funny stories. I don't know if now is the right time to tell some funny Charlie stories, or maybe another time. But one of the things that I can say right now is that when he did go national, and you know this and understand this better than anybody, a lot of times when people are escape Chicago, so to speak, escape Chicagoland, Illinois, they don't look back. It's don't they don't want anybody. But not Charlie. Every time he saw that I had a story that was relevant, he would have me on a show, and he would say, this is a great reporter. This is a great guy. I've known him forever, and so he was. I mean, this industry. How some people can be. He was eager to embrace old friends and to promote the right stories and issues, and that's why everyone loved him. That's why I loved that guy. I mean, he was just a terrific guy all the way around.
He deeply cared about Chicago, the suburbs, the state of Illinois as a whole. And I think what's hard for people to realize outside of the Prairie State is that 80% or more, even with the exodus since 1998, you think 26 electoral votes in the state of Illinois, now down to 19. That's millions of people who have left in roughly 25 years because of the failed Democrat policies of the Chicagoland region. Of 102 counties, the Cook County and the Collier counties, 6 counties in total, over 80% of the population lives right there in the Chicagoland area. We know that President Trump is now deploying the National Guard, having announced recently to Memphis, Tennessee, where there have been 149 murders in 2025 alone. You are right there in the thick of the action, living the front row of history, dealing with personalities like Mayor Brandon Johnson and Governor J.B. Pritzker. And you're asking those tough questions, William. You're doing the work of a true journalist. How do you diagnose the way they respond, not only to you with their bizarre answers, but also how they are failing the communities and residents of Chicago and the whole of Illinois?
Well, I know for a fact that Charlie was not a fan of Governor Pritzker. I believe that Governor Pritzker's rhetoric contributed greatly to Charlie's assassination, political assassination. Governor Pritzker is always out there talking about comparing his political opponents or anyone that disagrees with him to Nazis. And this is exactly the kind of rhetoric that leads to, unfortunately, to people who apparently are not thinking clearly to believe that they have some kind of moral authority to kill people like Charlie. And yet Governor Pritzker, here's a guy who is such a tyrant that he locked down the state of Illinois. He allowed looters out of jail so that they could loot. And his signature legislation that he believes is going to get him elected President Pritzker. Can you imagine this, Robert? His signature legislation is something called the Safety Act, which is no cash bail, which allows violent repeat offenders back out onto the street. And we're seeing the effects of this on a daily basis. Irena Zarutska, her horrific murder is something that we've already seen in Chicago, and we see it on a very regular basis. There's a rash of cases where not only repeat violent offenders, but repeat violent illegal alien offenders are punching white women. I'll just say it because it's what's happening. It is the exact fact of what's happening. Just going out and just punching random white women in the face, choking them out, abusing them, assaulting them, taking their purses, taking their possessions, stealing their lockets or their chains or anything shiny. And this is what happens under a Governor Pritzker. And yet Pritzker is more than happy to just run around saying that anyone who doesn't like that is a Nazi.
Yes, we've seen the rhetoric on a regular basis. All meanwhile, he's saying, turn down the temperature. And of course, we agree with that because we firmly believe here at the Voice of Reason in logic and the fact that you should not exit a relationship, a friendship, whatever it might be, or even from a family member simply on a political disagreement. We're more than that. And we have a roadmap going all the way back to Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, who passed away on July 4th, 1836, exactly 50 years after the work they did to sign the document that will last to the end of time, the Declaration of Independence, which led to this grand constitutional republic.
Right. I couldn't agree more. And the hypocrisy of a Pritzker, it's mind boggling. Most people can't comprehend, can't really wrap their heads around that level of hypocrisy because they just don't have that darkness in their hearts to even comprehend the evil of a Pritzker. So yeah, I mean, Pritzker was more than happy to have the National Guard in Chicago for the Democrat National Convention, if you recall. He was more than happy to have the National Guard come out and protect his mega donors. But when it comes to when President Trump offered to have the National Guard come to Chicago to protect women and children, the women and children who are the victims of these violent repeat offenders, Pritzker said, no, that would be a threat to democracy. Now, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what percentage of people can even comprehend that level of, I think, intentional hypocrisy. But yeah, it's breathtaking, Robert. It's absolutely tragic and breathtaking for the people of Chicago and Illinois and the entire Midwest. It's taking down the entire Midwest, as you well know.
As reporters and journalists, we've observed this from our home of Chicago, Illinois, that the bleeding out of this once great state and city, really helping out all the states around it, from Indiana to Missouri to Iowa, Wisconsin, even Minnesota to a certain extent, all seeing an increase in their industries because a lot of people just say, I don't want to have this. I don't want to be around it, but my family's still there. So I'll stay nearby, especially post-COVID and the BLM George Floyd riots, where people were seeking to perhaps work online or they didn't have to go to the office as often. So it's this mass exodus from Illinois in just the last few years. But not everyone can choose to escape the city. They have to live there for one reason or another. And it is a grand architectural masterpiece, the arts, the food. Chicago is unlike any other city. In fact, the finest, I would argue, in the entire world, but not safe. And it's outside of simple gang violence. It's literally throughout all of the 50 neighborhoods in and around the great metroplex that is Chicago, Illinois. We have Darren Bailey looking to get back into the race. He was the 2022 nominee for a Republican for governor. Ted Dabrowski, who's done some incredible intellectual work and analysis on tax policy, among others, facing our great nation. And James Mendrick, the DuPage County Sheriff, looking to take on that Republican nomination for governor. Does any single one stand out? And who could be the one to take on a J.B. Pritzker, who is the richest politician in America and the third largest media market in the United States? It costs a lot to run for any public office in Illinois.
I will be covering that race very fondly and eagerly. I appreciate your words about the greatness of Chicago. As somebody who was born and raised on the south side of Chicago, I love it with all my heart. I'm not a Chicago basher, but it does break my heart to see what these policies are doing. It's not even a partisan issue; it's a policy issue. As somebody who was born and raised in Chicago, I remember an Operation Greylord. If you remember, it was during the Reagan administration. They took down a lot of these circuit court judges that were fixing cases because of money. It wasn't because they cared about criminal or crime. It was the money, 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 which is exactly the lifeblood of Pritzker's operation and the Democrat operation currently in Chicago, Cook County. If Trump really, really, really wanted to upend Chicago and Cook County and really cause hurt this incompetent and corrupt culture here, he would do Operation Grey Lord 2.0, I guess we could call it. The FBI, the DOJ could really do that by looking into the case of Steve Fanity, a guy who's been in Cook County Jail for 3 years now, despite the fact that he's never been convicted of anything. It's a property dispute. It's a money dispute. From what I understand, I've been to the courtroom a couple of times, and I'm trying to figure out exactly what's really going on with this case. It's the case of Steve Fanity. I think that this is how you can potentially expose the corrupt underbelly of our current political system. It's kind of like that movie, The Untouchables, where the accountant, the little guy, kept. I feel like I relate to that guy because people always ask, how do we get them? How do we get them? Can we go zing them? And the truth is, you can get them by exposing the incompetence and the corruption. An Operation Grey Lord 2.0, focusing on Steve Fanity's case, might just be the the ledger. Remember in the Untouchables where the accountant had that little ledger book, and he gave it to Elliot Ness, and that was the key to undoing Al Capone. This Operation Grey Lord 2.0 might be the key to undoing the incompetent and corrupt political class in Illinois currently.
And that's exactly what we've seen this playbook before, whether it was with former Governor Rod Blagojevich to what's taking place in Brazil with former President Bolsonaro, almost using the same exact playbook in their laws and their corruption as was used against President Trump to try to create a picture against people who actually believe in the free exercise of thought and speech and ultimately at the ballot box. And we saw that too with a Democrat governor, Rod Blagojevich, where it was unanimous with then Speaker Mike Madigan, who is now on his way to jail. I never thought that would happen. He was the true governor of Illinois, for those who know the structure of this corrupt organized crime known as Illinois. He had a unanimous vote between Republicans and Democrats in the state house to impeach a duly elected governor, and it's absolutely insane. But to put our legal eagle hats on for just a moment, because we're not lawyers, but we see the situation where, as reporters, as journalists, getting to the bottom of not only bias, but is the sky blue? Is the grass green? It's always those basic questions to get to the truth. My favorite liberal out there has to be Mr. I'm blanking on his name at the moment, but he is calling out for the observation that in Western culture, we only elect judges really in America. You don't see that in the Western civilization. Do you think there have to be any sort of reforms when it comes to the enacting of these judges who are releasing people onto the streets who clearly have a rap sheet longer than most in civilized history?
Yeah, Robert, it's you are 100% right. That is exactly the real harm that is being caused in Chicago is the fact that these violent repeat offenders are right back out on the street, and they're as think about it, I'm sure these offenders, they're cowards. They come up behind people, they punch them in the back of the head. I've had it happen to me a number of times. I've been the victim of multiple attacks by multiple attackers. But if a man gets punched in the face or thrown down a flight of stairs or gets his lip split open as I have on that's not good. It's bad, right? Obviously. But if it happens to a woman, then it's far worse. Women get punched in the face and they've got a broken orbital bone. They've got, these blood bubble that comes out of their face and doesn't go away for the entire summer. This is what's happening to women in the city of Chicago right now. Countless cases of this. And you would think I believe that every problem can be solved with the right leadership. I believe that with all my heart. None of these problems are like inevitable. Okay, every single one of the problems facing Chicago could be reversed with the right leadership. But you need to have an elected official who actually cares about the law-abiding citizen. And clearly, what we have now are elected officials who care about people who aren't even citizens, people who are not even people who are repeat violent offenders who aren't even citizens of our country, and they're prioritizing them to the point where Brandon Johnson, our mayor, has bankrupted uh, the city of Chicago. We have a $1 billion plus deficit, a budget deficit, and that I ask him about literally on a weekly basis. I go to City Hall, and I ask these questions about crime and the spending on the illegal aliens, and Brandon Johnson threatens me. He insults me. Yeah, if you, no joke, if you Google reporter William J. Kelly, Brandon Johnson, or even Lori Lightfoot, you can even go back even further. They're so entitled. They don't think that they should even be asked questions, Robert. That's how bad it is.
It's extraordinary to watch, and just playing back in my head, Professor Alan Dershowitz, my favorite liberal, who also defended President Trump from the lawfare and the fake impeachments, leading that with now Attorney General Pam Bondi, and someone who is of the utmost character and really knows his Constitution. Also someone I don't agree with everything on, especially his mandates and that book he wrote, but at the same time loves our Constitution and deeply respects our president. But to your point with Mayor Brandon Johnson, we have shown footage on this show that you've shared with us. We will continue to get that message out there. Yeah. Brandon Johnson comes back at you and says that you have mental illness. He will not be accountable. And then his communications, press staff, all those folks, I'm surprised how they sleep at night trying to cut you off, asking questions on behalf of the citizens and residents of the great city of Chicago.
Well, I've had an attorney, a very high-powered attorney in Chicago, tell me that that is actually actionable. For someone someone like Brandon Johnson, in his capacity as mayor, to say something that is provably false about a reporter is libel. It's slander. I mean, and we are considering legal action on that issue. But it's even worse than that, I guess, because, for example, there's a case of an illegal alien, Jose Luis Mendoza Gonzalez, if you can believe it. That's at least the name he goes by, and he has been charged with concealing and abusing the body of an Illinois mother. Okay, a mother of two, Megan Boss, B-O-S is the spelling of her last name, and when I asked Mayor Johnson about it, he said that he felt threatened by the question, that I was somehow threatening him by this question, when it's his policies that have resulted in this, these cases ballooning out of control in the city of Chicago and the Chicagoland area. It's really the hypocrisy knows no bounds, Robert. Mayor Johnson has a security detail of 150 sworn police officers. Think about that. And he said, at a time when real Chicagoans are being abused in the streets, being raped, robbed, murdered, as a direct result of his policies. And then he says he feels threatened because I question him about it. Come on, Robert, please.
It's quite disturbing, and I could think of so many more resources, having grown up outside of Chicago, but having lived right in Wrigleyville, in Sheffield and Waveland, right when the Cubs, when they were about to win the World Series, they surprised us in 2015 with that team with the great Mr. Anthony Rizzo, who will retire as a Cub, which was great to see that. But back then, Wrigleyville was pretty safe, pretty fun. You had a bunch of the yuppies in that neighborhood and a lot of those Big Ten graduates who would go there to, in a sense, continue the party, but also celebrate the wonderful traditions of an extraordinary city. Can we see in the future William Kelly as a candidate once again for office in Chicago or Illinois? I know you've run a couple of times, but you've really done an extraordinary job holding the powerful accountable, but can you bring that common sense that's severely needed in the middle of the country?
I think being a reporter, I've been able to accomplish more as a reporter, believe it or not, on a weekly basis than I think I ever did in any other capacity as a for any other candidate, cause, or issue. But the fact of the matter is that I actually feel that there is a benefit to going and asking these questions. I have hundreds of thousands, and I'm sure you know it feels great to have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people liking, commenting, and sharing on my videos and saying, thank you, keep doing this. So I think I think I'm in the right place right now, Robert.
And we are a dear fan of you on this show, on the Voice of Reason and Right Side Broadcasting Network, which is really dedicated to getting the truth out there, because we started over a decade ago doing the Trump rallies because it was the mainstream legacy that said no one's going to Trump rallies. At the same time, Mr. George Clooney, a wonderful actor, and I enjoy his movies so much, but people were saying, including him, oh, there'll never be a Trump presidency. But people kept going to these rallies, and now since January, a live desk, because we believe our viewers can make up their own minds and can do better for themselves than an overarching bureaucracy can. And is it not true, William, that government in and of itself, whether it's local and state through policing and nationally through the military, but now the use of the National Guard in certain areas, really is to provide for safety? That's why government exists in the first place.
Exactly right. And Robert, you're a perfect example of, one man can make a difference. Never underestimate the difference that you made. All those years ago when, George Clooney was trying to psyop so many people, you proved him wrong. And, I mean, the number one purpose of government, I think the number one purpose of man on planet Earth is to protect and to provide safety, and it is I think it is a real perversion of nature to say that somehow that these elected officials in Chicago and Illinois are more concerned with violent criminals and violent illegal alien criminals. On top of it, no, we need elected officials who understand that protecting women and children has got to be the priority once again, Robert.
And as our friend, the late great Charlie Kirk, always said, more free speech will provide for the common defense of this great constitutional republic. And we know Chicago being that intersection and next door in Indiana, the crossroads of America, but truly the crossroads of America comes through Chicago with the rail system. How do you think this affects the UK visit? President Trump, it's very ceremonial. We have good new trade deals with Mr. Starmer, who is definitely on the left side of history. Can President Trump, through perhaps King Charles and his influence over his government, largely ceremonial at this point, can help influence the speech laws throughout the United Kingdom, because people are literally being arrested there? Someone called someone else a Muppet and is being held by the authorities. Does not make much sense for a place in the 13th century, which gave birth to the Magna Carta and ultimately helped Western civilization and our own revolution, because back in 1776, the UK once turned its back on its foundational principles, and this nation said we can self-govern better than our friends across the pond.
Well, Robert, nobody could say it better than you just did. The scary, it has been obviously frightening over the course of the last handful of years. The lockdown, the looting, the chilling effect on freedom of speech. People like you and I think just had to take a stand and continue to stand up and tell the truth. I went to Chicago City Hall and asked Lori Lightfoot, a real ghoul, a ghoulish human, Lori Lightfoot. She took such great glee in carrying out Governor Pritzker's lockdown looting decrees, shutting down schools and churches, and preventing children from playing sports and getting scholarships, children committing suicide as a result. And I would go to the city hall and I would ask the questions with full knowledge and she even threatened on multiple occasions to have the police drag me out and for asking questions. She ultimately did revoke my media credential, if you can believe it. We took her to federal court. I got it back at great expense. I still have a legal defense fund. If I could, reporterwilliamjkelly.com. It's right there, a legal defense fund. Can you believe that a reporter in a, I guess, what would be considered, you know, um, a first world country is needs a legal defense fund. But our current mayor Brandon Johnson is also threatening me on a fairly regular basis. As you see, his press secretaries on a weekly basis, when I go to ask a simple question, they harass me, they intimidate me, they menace me, they try to get in my face. I know not to react, but it's only a matter of time before they realize that they have to revoke my media credentials. So, so it is, I think, something that people like you and I, maybe it has something to do with being Irish. I don't know what, but it is something in us that forces us to continue to stand up and ask real questions when I think most people would just, be quiet, put on their mask and stay at home. I don't know, but we're not, obviously we're not built that way, Robert.
I would wear, which was actually somewhat funny because we're both jovial individuals and quite optimistic about the future, even in the face of fear and danger and what surrounds us now, to defend the foundational principles of this country, especially through our line of work, through journalism. It's the only thing laid out in the American Constitution in regards to a career and how vital that is to a free constitutional republic. But I used to wear a shirt around middle school and high school simply stating Irish temper and Italian attitude, with an American flag right in the middle of the Irish and Italian flags. And it's something we celebrate in Chicago, is it not? The great multi-ethnic, multicultural diversity of the foundation of Chicago, and how so many of our ancestors and relatives were in the police force, did the blue collar jobs because they loved the golden roads, as they put it, of America. In many cases for them, it was a difficult way of going about it, but they had to leave the old country for a better way of life.
Yes, exactly right. And that's why we love Chicago. I love Chicago with all my heart. I have obviously traveled, now in recent years, and I do realize that there might be a few other places that could be fun or offer things that maybe I'm are lacking in Chicago currently under our current administration. But I realize that I'm Chicago through and through, and I really I have to stay here. I have to fight for our city because of our ancestors. They built it, and what a disgrace it would be to just turn our backs on what they built and what God they were able to do. So we have to stay. We have to try and turn Chicago around, save Chicago, Robert.
Well, you are doing God's work, my friend, and we will continue to share, like, and subscribe. And again, for the viewers, we can find that at reporterwilliamjkelly.com, correct?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Excellent. William J. Kelly, Chicago reporter and truth teller. I like that term, truth teller, a true journalist. And thanks be to God that you have the courage to ask the real questions. And we hope and pray for, again, common sense governance, as our friend Tucker Carlson reminded us with Dennis Kucinich, really the liberal Ron Paul, if you will, mentioning just a couple of years ago, there's no need for this wokeism at the municipal level. It's about people getting to their jobs on time, having a robust economy, and opportunities in our great cities to not only intimidate, but to also welcome foreign heads of state. And I remember in the 1990s, my goodness gracious, everyone wanted to come to Chicago, including the likes of Arnold Schwarzenegger, and everyone loved the city. And I hope we can get back to that in the near future.
God bless you. Thank you, brother.
Thank you again to William J. Kelly, keeping us abreast of the situation in Chicago, Illinois, something that's been in the news on almost a daily basis with failed leadership. And we will always welcome, for the voice of reason, Governor J.B. Pritzker and Mayor Brandon Johnson to make their claims right here on this show because we believe in robust and large debate, because we need to keep talking to one another, just as our friend Charlie Kirk would have liked to see. Now, this day in history, 1793, George Washington lays the Capitol cornerstone on what is now the very Capitol building that you see today. An amazing moment for American democracy within our constitutional republic. And so much happening on this September 18th over the years, including in 1983, 10 years after signing their very first record deal, with their album sales flagging, the 70s rock band Kiss shocked audiences by appearing live on MTV for the first time without their iconic face paint. And they will be receiving those Kennedy Center honors along with amazing artists from over the years. So a celebration that will be fantastic to watch, with President Trump as the host over the holidays. Also, 10 years prior to that, in 1973, future President Jimmy Carter files a report with the International UFO Bureau on September 18th, and this was of 1973, claiming he had seen an unidentified flying object in October of 1969. During the presidential campaign of 1976, Democratic challenger Carter was forthcoming about his belief that he had seen a UFO, describing it on the outside of a Lions Club meeting in Leary, Georgia, that was about to begin at 7:30 in the evening. What he called the darnest thing I've ever seen, that happening this day in history. And also, don't tell him, but September 18th, happy birthday to my colleague, Matthew Alvarez, also born on this day. So September 18th is a pretty great day to celebrate American and world history. Also, this week, many winners. And it's all of those who have put on the vigils, to my former colleagues at Turning Point USA, and friends who have honored the life and legacy of Charles James Kirk. It's brought much therapeutic relief and love to read through all of these and to think about my friend as we approach the memorial service, which we will be at on Sunday. And we look forward to bringing you all of that unbridled access to honor an American legacy that's unparalleled. And we've seen that over the course of the last 8 days, just how beloved this individual was, from South Korea to the United Kingdom to right here at home, and throughout a world longing for something bigger than themselves, something in church, something in their communities, and putting their best foot forward to serve. Charlie was an amazing example of that, and we've seen across social media, to prayer vigils, to the halls of Congress, the Kennedy Center, and I'm sure at your own church, beautiful reflections on the life and legacy of Charlie Kirk. Now, the loser of the week, a gentleman, mayor of Aurora, Illinois, John Leach, who decided to not fly the flag at half-staff as ordered by President Trump to honor the life of Charlie Kirk. Also ordered by Governor J.B. Pritzker to honor all victims of political violence just last week. Now, this sunsetted at 6 o'clock Eastern on September 14th, last Sunday, but the mayor decided not to do that. I'm also amazed by those who would try to create a different narrative in order to score cheap political points, and we've seen that on the far left. Vice President J.D. Vance is very clear and very right about this, that we have to speak up against this, but the problem is mostly coming from the far left in American society. But as we honor and mourn the life of an amazing man, we focus on all of these things moving forward, because together we have shown really the world why America still is that beacon of hope, and why we are still, in essence, a good and moral people. And it's Charlie's life that showcased that perhaps better than anyone in recent years. Be sure to catch us every Thursday night at 6 o'clock. It's a dash of Western charm. It's sports, music, culture, it's politics, and it's punchlines. And we are unafraid to showcase the American story here with you on Right Side Broadcasting and the voice of reason. God bless you. Good night. We'll see you soon.